welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey and I'm here to do the rest of my July TBR. So if you saw my previous 3 videos, then you would know that the first week of July I dedicated solely to the video game-a-thon. The video game-a-thon is a readathon that I hosted with my friend Danny over at Current Chapter, and we had an excellent time, but there is still another 3 weeks in the month. So what am I going to be reading? I have quite a selection of fantasy books, so I'm super excited, but I think I will go in my TBR in terms of priority for the month. So I have 2 arcs that came out in May that I still haven't read yet, so I really need to read those this month. One of them is Jelly by Claire Reese. I am 100 pages into this, and from what I understand, this is a book that is kind of dystopic because it's a group of humans who found themselves living on a jellyfish. This huge jellyfish is able to kind of house a bunch of humans, and they're able to see the shore. So they don't know how they got onto the jellyfish, but they know that there is some sort of dystopic event that happened that led to them being on the jellyfish. If they try to jump off the jellyfish, it throws it back on. So it's really like this weird little mystery about what's happening. So very excited to continue with that. The next arc I need to prioritize is The Apocalypse 7 by Jean Doucette. And this is another dystopia, kind of. It's like apocalyptic, really. So this book seems to follow a boy who is a 20-something Cambridge coder, and he wakes up to find himself as one of the only survivors. That is until he comes into contact with Robbie and Carol, who are 2 Harvard graduates, and he realizes that he is not alone in the world. They end up finding 4 more people, creating the Apocalypse 7, and they are, I guess, working together to try and figure out what happened and why there is this apocalypse. So I don't know much about these 2 arcs, but I absolutely need to prioritize them. After that, my priority is to focus on my Brandon Sanderson project. If you have been watching my TBRs for the last couple of months, I have been prioritizing Brandon Sanderson's works. So for this month, I am finishing out the Mistborn Era 2, or what's been published, because I think one more book is coming out in this series, but this is the Bands of Mourning. So Mistborn Era 2 takes place hundreds of years after the first era of Mistborn. So in this world, we understand that people are able to ingest metals, and they are called mistlings. So they can absorb metals to push things, to pull things, to alleviate the emotions of the people around them, and only certain people are able to ingest multiple metals and to utilize them, and they are called mistborns. This book takes place hundreds of years after the first era, and it follows 2 characters named Wax and Wayne, and they are kind of like, I guess, these law enforcers, but they're kind of like Batman. Like, they're not allowed to do these things, but they do it anyways. And I have been loving this series. I think Brandon Sanderson's humor is on point in this series. In addition to that, the first series becomes this kind of like religion in this series, and the second book really developed on that and like demonstrated how these series are more connected in more ways. So I'm definitely excited to continue with this. Once I am done this, I can finally get into the Mistborn novellas. I read all the novellas in this bounded up version called Arcanum Unbounded, and this has pretty much all of Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere novellas besides the most recently published, let's say. So once I finish Bands of Mourning, I need to read The 11th Metal, Allomancer Jack and the Pits of Eltania. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. And then we have Mistborn Secret History, and that's the longest novella. So I'm very excited to continue on with these. I don't know what those novellas are about because I've kind of been avoiding them. People say that they have spoilers. So I decided to just finish the Mistborn 2 series before continuing. So you'll hear more in my wrap up about what they're about. 2 next books on my priority list are for Mel over at melreads' book club. If you didn't know, Mel has a Patreon, and one of the perks of her Patreon is the Discord where we have these book clubs. So the first book for the book club is Ace of Spades, and I want to read the name so I don't butcher it. This is by Farida Abike Iyemedi. So from what I understand, this is supposed to be like a dark academia thriller book, kind of like Gossip Girl meets Get Out is what I've heard. When 2 students at this private academy are selected to be a part of the elite school's senior prefects, it looks like their year is off to an amazing start. After all, not only does it look great on college applications, but it officially puts them in the running for valedictorian. Shortly after the announcement is made though, someone who goes by Aces begins sending out anonymous text messages, so that's where the Gossip Girl comes in, to reveal secrets about the 2 of them that turn their lives upside down and threaten every aspect of their carefully planned futures. Aces shows no sign of stopping, and what seemed like a sick prank quickly turns into a dangerous game when all the cards are stacked against them. So I am so excited to pick up this book. I've literally heard nothing but excellent things about it, so I know I'm going to enjoy this. And the secondary book club pick for Mel's book book club is Normal People by Sally Rooney. So this book I feel like has really divided reviews. Either people absolutely adore it or people absolutely hate it. I've never seen in between. This book follows two characters, Connell and Marianne, and they both grew up in the same town, but the similarities end there. Connell is this like jock, super popular guy, and Marianne is described as a loner. But when the two eventually strike up a conversation, the electricity surges and everything in their life changes. I am so excited to pick up this book. It even seems like in the Discord people are really divided, those who have read it, so I cannot wait to see where I fall in that. After that, we have two books from my 2021 TBR. If you've never seen those videos, I will link the playlist up above. But this is Dare Mighty Things by Heather Kaczynski, and it is on the oldest books on my TBR. So really, I don't know much about this book simply because I saw that Books and Lala liked it, and so I just added it to my TBR. But this seems to have a game element to it where teenagers are vying for a chance to fly to space. But in order to do so, the main character has to compete against the brightest and bravest people on the planet who are just as determined to fly to space. So that's really all I know. I just know Books and Lala likes this book, so I hope that I do too. I usually tend to like books about space and sci-fi and teenagers going to space, so I feel like I'll probably like this, but I'm excited to see where I stand. And the next book from my 2021 TBR is Stamped from the Beginning by Ibram X. Kendi. So in this book, Kendi chronicles the entire story of anti-Black racism and the power that it has throughout the course of American history. So according to the synopsis, this book uses the lives of 5 major American intellectuals to offer a window into the contentious debates between assimilationists and segregationists and between racists and anti-racists. So it will follow people like the Puritan minister Cotton Mather, Thomas Jefferson, W.E.B. Du Bois, Angela Davis. I'm very excited to read this book. I have heard nothing but excellent things. Even the back of this book says it's the best book of the year for the Washington Post and the Boston Globe. It was winner of the 2016 National Book Award for Nonfiction, National Book Critics Circle Award finalist for nonfiction, the NAACP Image Award finalist for Outstanding Literary Work in Nonfiction. I absolutely need to read this. The minute I bought it, I was so excited to pick it up, and this will definitely be the month that I do so. And after that, I just have one more book that I would like to read. This is Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. I don't think I posted my May wrap-up, but I absolutely loved The Willful Princess and the Piebald Prince from Robin Hobb. That was her novella that takes place in this universe called the Realm of the Elderling series, and this book is the first book in the first trilogy, book 1 of the Farseer trilogy. This book takes place when the news surrounding the king reveals that he has a bastard son, and the king is shamed into abdication, and the son's name is Fitz. Fitz becomes our main character, but he is absolutely despised in this world. He is raised in the castle stables, and his only real friend is the king's fool. But in order to feel useful to the crown, Fitz decides that he wants to become an assassin and utilize the traditional magic of the Farseer family. This is another book where I've heard nothing but good things, and if the writing is similar to that of the novella I read previously this year, I know that I'm going to love this. I read that novella in order to get a little taste of Robin Hobb's writing, and I absolutely fell in love with her writing. I'm only expecting to give this a 5 out of 5 stars.
Also a liar. I am also reading The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, and I'm doing this as a buddy read with Danny over at Current Chapters. She's way ahead of me at this point, but we're reading this together. And I'm not going to explain what The Hobbit is about because everybody knows what it's about.
And that's it. Those are all the books I want to read. Let me know what you're reading in the month of July. Did you read any of the books I chose? Did you like them? Did you hate them? Let me know down below. I always leave a link to my Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads down below if you would like to connect on any other platforms. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell on this video. It really helps support my channel and makes me feel really happy. But that's it. I don't know what else to say. I always feel awkward doing this, so I will see you next time. Bye!